Hi, this is Mary Ellen with Portraits of Me, and today I'm going over the books I'm reading in January of 2020. Hi everyone! Thanks so much for clicking on this video. I apologize for this right here. This little mess. I'm just too lazy to clean that corner, and I don't have anywhere else to film, so excuse that, act like it's not even there. Today I want to share with you the books that I'm planning to read or have read in January. I'm filming this video on January 19th, so there's still a few weeks left in January, so I can probably finish all the books I'm going to be showing you in this video. However, by the time this video goes out, it just might be February, so you won't know if I finish them until I do a wrap-up of these books to see what I finished and what I couldn't finish. You know what I mean. Let's just get to the books and stop mumbling over all my words, okay? So, the first stack of books I'm going to show you are books that I actually have read. However, I'm not going to go into detail about what I thought or the star rating I gave them, because I want to do that in a follow-up video, like a wrap-up video or even a book review video. So these books I've read. The first one I want to show you is this one right here. It is Sawkill Girls. I got this one at Target for a really good price, and this one is about some girls on an island where there have been mysterious deaths. So they're kind of looking into what happened to find out what that mystery is. Very good book, but I won't go into much detail. Read this one in January. Another book I put on my list of books to read in January was this one right here. It is The Coldest Girl in Coldtown by Holly Black. And I am finding out that she's an author I'm really enjoying her writing and her storytelling. So this one is about a girl who lives in a society where vampires are no longer amongst the hidden. They have come out and they are well known in this world, which is our world, but I think it's in the future. And so what happens is, if you are bitten, you can go to this Coldtown where you could become a vampire and live within this small secluded city. So it's about this girl who was at a party, wakes up, all her friends are dead because they were attacked by vampires, and as she's trying to escape, she thinks she's becoming infected. So she's heading towards a cold town, and it's her journey to that town, her experience inside that town, and about her family and friends that she comes across. So that's another book that is on my TBR for January. This book is a reread, and it is this book right here, 100 Cupboards. And I wanted to reread it because I'm finally going to continue to book 2 in the series. I really did enjoy this book when I read it the first time, and this time I'm listening to the audio of the book instead of reading the physical book. But this book is about a boy whose parents are kidnapped, so he stays with his aunt and uncle, and he has a bedroom in the attic, and he notices that there's a wall that's been plastered over, but the plaster is chipping, so he continues to pick at it and discovers behind that plaster wall is a wall of different cupboards. So look at that. The cover, very intriguing, kind of makes you wonder what's behind all those doors, right? That's what he wonders, and so it's his story of that adventure. In another video I haven't recorded yet, but I do want to record and upload to my channel, is that I recently subscribed to the Book of the Month Club. And one of the books that I purchased for my first box was this book right here, The Silent Patient. And this one I've read as well already and really enjoyed it, but I'm not going to tell you my entire thoughts on it, just that I really did enjoy it. So this is about a woman whose husband was murdered, and they said she did it because she was at the crime scene when the cops arrived. But since that day of the murder, she hasn't spoken a word. So she is instead of going to jail, because I think, you know, psychologically she's not all there, they put her in a mental institute instead. So this is the story of the psychiatrist or the psychotherapist who is trying to break through her silence to find out what really happened that night. And another book on my TBR is this book right here. This one is called Sometimes I Lie. And as you could tell, I tried to tear off the sticker, but it was too stuck. I didn't want to get that gooey sticker goo while I was reading it, so I kept it on. Anyway, this book is about a girl, or not a girl, a woman who is in a coma. And while she's in this coma, she can still think, and she's trying to recoup her memories of why she's in this coma. And as she's in this coma, she can hear everything that's going on around her. So she can hear her husband, her parents, like all these people, she can hear conversations going around. And as she's taking those conversations and trying to build her memory, she's trying to discover why she's in that coma. So this is another book that's on my TBR for January. Okay, currently I'm reading this book. This is the final book in the Scythe series. This is The Toll. As you can tell, I am not too deeply into it. I'm on a page 246, but this is a really fat book. There is like over 500 pages, almost 600 pages in this book. And I actually started this book in early January, and I still haven't finished it. For some reason, I'm not as enthralled in the story as I was in the first two books. I'm having a really hard time getting into this book and into the story, but I love this series. I love the characters, so I kind of put this off for a little bit. I've read some of the other books I just showed you, so hoping to pick this up again soon to continue this story. This is about two characters who, how do I say it without going into this one? Should I even tell you about it? I'm sure a lot of people have heard about the Scythe series in the first book. So if you're interested in learning more, check Goodreads, because I don't want to spoil anybody with my thoughts on it yet. Okay, another book that I am reading, oops, sorry, I hit the camera. Another book I am reading is this one right here. This is a buddy read, The Hobbit, with Books and Jams and, ooh, I forgot the other booktuber's name. I'll put all the information below, but they're reading this book in January, and then they're going to move on to the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So this is the Lord of the Read-Alongs that they're hosting. And so I am not too far along in this book. I'm only on page 65. Everybody knows pretty much what The Hobbit is about. You're following a hobbit on an adventure to get the jewel in this mountain for some drawers. So very good book. It's just a little bit different reading experience because it's not written in modern talk like all the other books I've read really quickly. It's written more back in the, I think in the 1950s, I think this book was published, or 60s. Well, let me look because not so good with dates. So this one was published in, 1937. Wow, I'm way off on that, aren't I? So that's why the writing style is so much different than what I'm used to. So this is also the edition that is illustrated by the author. So this is a fun edition to read. Another book that I picked up in January is this one right here. And again, I'm currently reading it because I tend to read multiple books at once. And that book is The Nature of the Beast. And I didn't realize it until I picked it up and started reading it, that this is actually a series about a detective. It's a Chief Inspector Gamache novel. And this is like, I don't know what number this is, but it's not the first one. However, I still started reading it, and it's easy to follow along with. So I think in this series you can pretty much start with any book, because this author is really good at telling you past information if you need to know it in this story. So she does a really good job with that. And so I don't feel lost with the characters. The story is gripping, the writing style is gripping, and so I am really enjoying it, and just might continue to read some more books about this inspector and the mysteries he solved. So that is on my TBR for January. And I'm reading my first autobiography out of the 6 that I want to read this year, and that is this one right here. It is Choosing to See. This is the story of Mary Beth Chapman, who is married to a Christian artist, musician, Stephen Curtis Chapman, and this is her story of how she dealt with the trauma of losing her adopted daughter. And so far it is a really good book. I can totally relate to her and her circumstances because, well, not the death part, but I can relate to her personality because she is so much like me. She's all about order. She's all about having things be predictable and wanting things to be the way she's planned it, and she's just very like analytical like I am. And so it's so funny to read this and say, hey, I relate to you. And she's married to an artist who isn't any of those things, who is like carefree and, you know, just goes with the flow like my husband, and how much that's so hard when you're somebody who likes to plan things out and go by a schedule and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's been a fun experience reading about their dynamic because it reminds me so much of me and my husband. But anyway, the subject matter isn't as, you know, enjoyable because it's talking about a really sad incident in her life by losing her daughter and going through that. But she is a Christian, so it's also very encouraging on that front because it shows how she's leaning on God and how he's giving her the strength to go through this and to actually use this for the good of her and her family and for her community and people who were touched by her story. So really loving this autobiography and would highly recommend it to anybody who is looking to be encouraged or who is going through a hard time and needs that encouragement. So this is on my January TBR and I'm almost done with it. And currently, actually today, I just picked up this book. This is Dark Matter. Just read, ouch, I hit myself with the book. I just read the first chapter and am loving it so far. That first chapter really grabs you, doesn't it? So this one, I heard so many good things about on BookTube, so I decided to pick it up. And I believe it's about the main character who somehow is thrust into like a parallel universe or situation or something, because it says that when he wakes up, he no longer is in the life that he knew. He doesn't have a wife. He doesn't have a son. So he's trying to figure out what happened. So looking forward to reading this. First chapter is really good. And I just picked up this one yesterday, and that is this one right here. I hope you get this message. And so again, I'm not very far on page 13 because I kept getting interrupted when I was reading this one yesterday because I read it in the living room. If you want to read a book with no interruptions, the living room is not the place to read it because people come in and out, they talk to you, they ask you questions, and you just cannot really read in, what am I trying to say? You can't really get into a book when you have all those interruptions. So I put it down, but from what I have read, I am looking forward to reading this book as well. Now this book, I believe, is about these characters who get a message that they only have so many days left to live and that they are going to be exterminated or something like that. It says 7 days, 7 days. The earth might end in 7 days. So far it's so good, but again, I haven't gotten too far into it. Looking forward to finishing this in January. And those are all the books, you guys. All the books I am planning to read in January that I have on my TBR, and I'm hoping to get through them all with the few weeks. I think only 2 weeks are left in January, so I'm hoping to finish the ones I started in these last 2 weeks. Anyway, I guess that's it. That's my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, you know the drill. Thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. And with that, you guys, have a great morning, day, evening, or night, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! So, first line in I hope you get this message. Don't you dare, Jesse muttered. Dark Matter. I love Thursday nights. The toll. It is with abiding humility that I accept the position of High Blade of Mid-America. First sentence. The sky was a bright springtime blue that day. The Hobbit. In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit.